All right, so here we go with James 2:8. If, however, you are fulfilling the royal law according to the scriptures, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, then you are doing well. So remember, James has just finished talking about not showing partiality, favoritism, discrimination, and now he's talking about if, however, you are fulfilling or performing, and this is, think, orders from a king or somebody in authority, and when he says the royal law from the king, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So this love, we do got to make sure and break that down and make sure we're using the proper definition for love, God's definition of love. So in this culture, it seems like the definition of love that we're using the most is affection. If you love somebody else, you have affection towards them. That's not quite what God is getting at when he's talking about love your neighbor as yourself. This love that he's talking about is doing the best thing for the other person. We also have to think about same team. Are we on the same team towards the same goal? Unity is a big part of God's definition of love. And then also, we can also throw in the Pharisees at the time when Jesus was around, because they had a lot of rules in regards to how you show love to other people. And in this culture, we also have lots of rules in some Christian circles, as far as what you have to wear in order to show, or if you need to take part in some sort of medical experiment, well, that's how you show love. Well, when we're on the same team, we all have different positions, so that might be right for you, but you do have to allow other Christians to live according to their conscience and the lane that God has put them in. Love your neighbor as yourself, then you are doing well. So this doing well at the end of the verse 8 is talking about not according to what you think or somebody else, but this is the royal lawgiver. This is God's definition of doing well. So although we might be doing well, is it God's idea of are you doing well? So this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, this was covered earlier in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, that'd be verses 25 through 37, the Good Samaritan. So a lawyer comes up and he basically thinks I'm good, Jesus. What do you think? Well, you love God? Yeah, I got that. You love your neighbors? Oh, yeah, totally, I got that. Now, well, now hold on now. What do you mean by neighbor? Like, who's my neighbor? So this guy was probably pretty good with the priests and the Levites, but those Samaritans, the people that were ethnically different than him, he was struggling on that. So make sure if you go back and reread Luke chapter 10, make sure you reread that story, because Jesus is answering the question, not how to be nice to somebody like the Samaritan. He's saying, who's your neighbor? Well, it includes people who are ethnically different than you. So that's something to throw in there as well. And this love your neighbor as yourself, it reminds me of this story I heard a while ago. So if you see somebody walking towards a cliff, love is not bringing an ambulance around to the bottom of the cliff. That's not love. Love is letting somebody know, hey, you heading on a bad direction here, and it may end badly for you. But it seems like in this culture, instead of speaking truth, love in truth, we are doing we'll just get an ambulance and park it at the bottom of the cliff, so that way if somebody does hurt themselves, well, they got to do what they wanted to do, because I wanted to show affection to them, but I'm not giving them love in truth. The other piece with this is, are we teaching our young men and young women, and specifically the young men, what this looks like, this love? Because we have this issue with toxic masculinity, which I do believe exists. That's the guys that think it's cool to bully people, and they swear a bunch, and they're all big, tough, macho guys. So no, God made us authentically masculine, so that way we could look out for the weaker person and not bully them or use our size to push them around. So that's that toxic masculinity. We need to be showing authentic masculinity, which is power, but power in restrained. So we can use it when we need. It's Teddy Roosevelt said, talk softly, but carry a big stick. And that big stick was to protect the weaker people. Anyhow, James 2:8, if you love your neighbor as yourself.